Hello everyone. Today marks 1 year of me playing Siege, and while I will have an actual video up later today, I need to address events in the community that have been bothering me for months. I meant to make this before the nerf even happened, but I feel like it's time now that the issue continues to worsen. In waiting, I've gathered all of the facts, I've done tons of research, and I've even tested what I'll be talking about for myself. I hope this will educate those who don't play shields about them and help them to respect us, even reaching those who hate them, while also providing feedback about the changes and hopefully gaining a response from the only people who can fix this. So, let's talk shields. Starting with shields overall, it's absurd that people claim that they require no skill. Shields take a mountain of skill to play effectively, which means more than just getting kills as you climb in level or rank. It's paramount that shields put the lives of teammates over their own and communicate to ensure that everyone can do their jobs, use their gadgets, and ultimately win. People also believe shields rely less on aiming skill because you do less shooting with a shield, but when you do shoot, you're limited to a pistol, and with that you actually need more aiming skill than another weapon. After the last 3 nerfs, shields have less firepower than ever. Defenders already have tons of ways to counter us. They're faster, they have more resources and better weapons, and they can shoot over the top of our shield or our shoulders or legs. I mean, for a long time, all we had to say for ourselves was that we didn't get shot through our shields anymore, and now we can't even say that. How'd he get me?
He was right around the corner.
The other issue is the majority of people complaining about shields being lower skill or rank. The low-level casual community not knowing the difference between overpowered and challenging, or not understanding how to properly counter a shield, hardly raise good enough reasons to warrant a nerf quite like the one we're now dealing with. Shields already see next to no play in Pro League due to not being practical or viable on most bomb sites. If they really were as overpowered as players continue to make them sound, you'd see them way more. And now, even though there certainly are pros and higher level players who complain about shields, most of them are the same people who constantly preach Siege should be more like other shooters. More aim and kill, less tactics and skill. Shields are a weapon that add depth and realism to Siege. Many fail to realize a game can be both realistic and balanced. Now, let's move on to the specific issue itself. The following operators, Montaigne, Blitz, Fuse, and Clash, will protect any player, hostiles included, from an explosion if the shield bearer is standing between them and the explosion. It's important to add that players standing behind a shield will suffer proportionally to how exposed their body is to the explosion. Additionally, shields will still be protecting operators even if stored on the characters' backs. The guard break animation will be proportional to the damage inflicted to the shield, not to the operator, and will only be triggered if a minimum of 50 explosion damage is received. The greater the damage, the more important the guard break animation will be, up to 100 damage. Melee damage, concussion effects, as well as the sonic bursts will trigger the guard break to the highest degree, while electric damage will only trigger the lowest guard break animation. Additionally, the rotation speed of the shielded operator will be reduced during the animation, and we also added a new animation for Montaigne to prevent his shield from folding up during the guard break. This change has several major goals, the first being consistency. It feels intuitive for operators hiding behind a shielded ally to be protected in the same way as the operator standing even closer to the explosion. With that in mind, we know that this is likely to open the door to more teamwork and cooperation. Attackers will be able to rely on the passive protection of a shield bearer to plant on a bomb site, for instance. Indirectly, we foresee a renewed interest from defenders to pick operators such as Goyo, Smoke, as well as Tachanka to counter these tactics. However, explosions will now also trigger the guard break mechanism and offer a window of opportunity to damage shield bearers. On top of that, Clash's CCE shield is becoming a hard counter for shielded operators, as her ability will now trigger the guard break. We are aware that shields are often a source of frustration, and we hope that the new guard break mechanism will improve this aspect. Our goal is to improve teamwork and find new interesting ways to play a shield and for the benefit of your team. Now, you'll notice, this wasn't in the patch notes directly, but Ubisoft briefly mentions the sensitivity lock applied to shields in their guard break state. Not only was the nerf itself threatening shields, but then Ubi reintroduced a mechanic everyone hated on top of it. Luckily though, as of the Year 5 Season 4.3 patch notes, the sensitivity lock has been removed. We introduced this mechanic to counter shield operators' quick rotation during the guard break animation. We initially viewed this quick rotation as a source of frustration and sought to reduce the feeling of putting yourself in danger to engage a shield and getting nothing from it. We've all had that one run-in with a skilled Clash. But over time observing our community's evolving strategies, this interaction feels more in line with how a skilled shield player uses them. As a result, we have removed this aspect of ballistic shields, as it wasn't our intention to remove a key component of shield play, which created frustration for the player using the shield. Shield should now feel more comfortable to play. Let's talk about how all of this affects Shield operators individually. Blitz is the most popular shield and equally the most complained about. As an offensive shield with a pushy playstyle and access to two very controversial weapons, he's a big target for hate. The thing I noticed with him is that this doesn't always stem from the shield per se, but from flash, or melee, even inconsistent hitboxes or hit registry. The one thing that separates Blitz's shield from the others is size and shape. Being flat on top of still being default size makes Blitz exceptionally easy to hit if he is not looking directly at you. While more often than not he is, this guard break mechanic on such a small shield is a bit much, and most of Blitz's issues can be solved by fixing other elements instead. Ubisoft has already tweaked flashes, which helps, but there's more to it than that. Golden Gun coming back a while ago made it very clear how broken Melee in Siege really is, and a little tweaking would go a long way for everyone, not just shields. What?
Start, you hit him twice?
You hit him twice. It made the sound and everything.
Shit worked that time. When Blitz's entire kit is based around the idea of flash and bash, and one of those doesn't work, he is set up to fail. Melee should not be a hit scan stab. It is more than clear that it does not work most of the time. Fuse, being the least played and most underpowered shield, by far has it the worst. The reason he was given a shield in the first place was for blast protection from his own cluster charges through walls and floors. He's slow, he has little protection for his massive hitbox, and his shield has no ability. Because of this, using his shield makes him more vulnerable rather than not. He's a defensive shield, meant for slower and more careful play, and making it even harder to breach and clear to cluster charge, push, or play offensively by himself, which is the opposite of how he plays with any other weapon, an aggressive operator meant for flanking and area denial. It requires a completely unique playstyle that needs even greater teamwork and communication to maximize effectiveness of charges, kills, and the lifespan of himself and teammates. People already believe his shield is useless and should be removed, and with the guard break destroying what very little ground using his shield has left, he can barely defend himself in the most basic form. Lastly, Montaigne, the only one who needed the nerf. We're all aware that Montaigne diffuser camping needed addressing, and for him I believe the guard break was necessary and I support it. What I don't support though is the constant assumption that whatever is good for him is good for the other two. It's not. Shields need to be treated with the same sense of individuality as any other operator and have their issues dealt with one at a time. When it comes to him, the guard break is realistic. If you got hit with a 5-pound brick of explosives, would you not flinch? I, among many others, are 110% for realism in Siege, but the issue is that the guard break right now is too severe. We don't expect Ubisoft to revoke it entirely. We know they won't, and that isn't the goal, but all we really want is for it to be tweaked to acceptable levels. If after all of that, the issue still isn't clear, let me show you how one season changed Shield's win delta versus presence. Now that you can visualize it, do you understand? Blitz's win rate dropped from over 4% to nearly -6, that's insane. Montaigne went from a near 1% win rate down to -3. I won't analyze Fuse's change too much since no one really plays a shield and therefore the data can't be used to effectively represent the impact of the nerf on him. But does this help make it obvious how far down the nerf continues to bury us shields, seeing Blitz and Montaigne in the dirt like that? And that's about it. The whole situation kills me as someone who not only loves shields, but just loves Siege and wants the best for it. I know it's only been a year, but I've put too much into this game to see it like this. And this isn't for me, I don't really care about that. This is for Siege, and to give the minority of players a voice. I know I can't speak for everyone, but I'll stand among many, shield mains or not, who agree that shields need love and not nerfs. If you stand with us, please use the hashtag to show your support. Thanks for the view, and I'll see you guys later.